It's, of course, a very happy day for Sofapaka and Moroni Youth after the Sports Tribunal reinstated them back to the Kenya Premier League. The decision means that the two teams are back in the Kenyan Premier League after missing round one action. According to the tribunal chairman, John Ohaga, most of the clauses in the FKF club licensing manual are not reflective of the CAF and FIFA manual. However, Vihiga United and KCB will remain in the National Super League. And well, away from the football news now to some rugby news, where we stay on with the Kenya Rugby Union elections, where yesterday we spoke to former Vice Chair Sasha Mutai, and early today the current chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union Board, Richard Omwela, spoke to us about his vision for the Kenya Rugby Union. Well, the Kenya Rugby Union elections will be held on the 21st of this month, and we do have three contenders for the chairmanship seat. This morning, we are speaking to the current chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union, Richard Omwela, to just let us in on how his 2 years tenure has been and why he is, of course, vying for chairmanship. Again, a very good morning, and thank you very much for speaking to us. Could you please let us in into how your 2-year tenure has been?
It's been challenging in terms of the background through which I came back to the union. We had a couple of challenges going in the union. If you recall, I came back because the then chairman had just resigned from the board as chairman, and we had an acting chairman. And it's against that background that I was then elected back into office. But more importantly, if you recall, just before Mwangi resigned, we had a couple of sponsors that had actually walked away from the game.
And well, let's talk about your 2 years and what have been your biggest achievements.
I would say that bringing SportPesa on board as the title sponsor has been a big achievement, because SportPesa sponsorship is a 5-year running sponsorship. So irrespective of whether I get re-elected or not, we have a guaranteed sponsor for the next 5 years. That is something we haven't had before. We've always had sponsors running for a year, and for you to plan properly, you need to have a long-term sponsor. I have changed the face of sponsors in terms of bringing them back into the game. And as we speak, there are so many others lined up wanting to join. I think I'm a safe pair of hands in terms of ensuring that what we have continues.
Well, even as you speak and pride yourself in having sponsors coming back to the union, the money hasn't translated too much, because the sevens players are still complaining about their contracts, and this could actually be affecting their performance.
Unfortunately, we haven't concluded the contracts. Now it's down to the duration of the contract and not the terms of the contract. The duration in that we as a union want the contract to end in May, because the season technically ends in May with London and Paris. But the players want to see a continuation of the contract to September. The reason why the union feels that the contract should end in May is because of the amount of money available between May and September. We don't want to go in a situation where we are not paying because we don't have money. Obviously, they've been contributed by very difficult pools. The last pool had England, had South Africa, and Chile. Not an easy pool. Yes, I'm not saying we played fantastic rugby, but we're getting there. A new coach, new tactics, and we want to have a discussion with him about the combinations he's having, the weaknesses, the substitutions, because some of the calls that have been made, Kenyans are wondering, why was that call made?
Well, and for you, would you go for a local or a foreign coach?
I believe that a local coach understands local conditions better, understands the players better, understands their strengths better, understands their backgrounds, where they play, when they played last for their clubs, and what their conditions are.
And since you came back to the union, many quarters feel like your heart has not been there. You have been the chairman, but you haven't been very visible, and it has been more of a case of an absentee father. What would you love to say about that?
This year, I double up as the district governor of Rotary International. Rotary International covers Kenya, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Eritrea, and I'm the current governor. And Part of that entails having to travel to Ethiopia, to South Sudan, and to Eritrea to do humanitarian work. And for me, it has been a challenging year in terms of being the chairman of the union and being a governor of Rotary. Rotary is a one-year cycle, but the appointments are done 4 years in advance. So there's something I couldn't change. But having said that, I complete my assignment in April, and the absentee father will be very much back on the scene, and I'm promising everybody that I'm available to continue to work for rugby and to make sure that our programs come to fruition.
So, well, all the very best, and I must say that may the best man win the Kenya Rugby Union elections. That was the current chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union, Richard Omwela, speaking to us about the forthcoming elections.